energy to practice this meditative stabilization, and this is why they are without enmity, without hostility, without rivalry, and without malice. D. Vipulana, Mahajatana Pramanana Satina. With a vast, expanded, immense mind. This mind is single, but as its magnitude differs, there are three attributive adjectives used. This mind is vast when it includes one single region, extended when it goes far and high, immense when it includes the nadir and the other 9 regions. Furthermore, if it is low, maitri, loving kindness, is called vast. Middling, it is called extended. Higher, it is called immense. Furthermore, if it bears upon the beings of the 4 main directions, maitri, loving kindness, is called vast. If it bears upon the beings of the 4 intermediate directions, it is said to be extended. If it bears upon the beings of the zenith and the nadir, it is said to be immense. Furthermore, if it destroys the minds of enmity, maitri, loving kindness, is called vast. If it destroys the minds of rivalry, it is called extended. If it destroys the minds of malice, it is called immense. Furthermore, all the defiled minds cultivated by vile individuals giving rise to evil things are called vile. The most vile of them are enmity, rivalry and malice. Since maitri, loving kindness, destroys these vile minds, it is called vast, extended and immense. Why? Because great causes and conditions are necessary to destroy vile things. The vast mind that fears sin, that fears falling into hell, eliminates the bad dharmas from the mind. The extended mind that believes in the retribution of merits eliminates the bad thoughts. The immense mind that wants to attain nirvana eliminates the bad thoughts. Furthermore, when the yogin observes the purity of the discipline, this is a vast mind. When he is endowed with trance and absorption, this is an extended mind. When he is endowed with wisdom, this is an immense mind. When the yogin, by means of this mind of loving kindness, thinks about the noble people who have found the path, this is an immense mind because he is using immense means to distinguish these noble people. When he thinks about the noble abodes of gods and men, this is an extended mind. When he thinks about lower beings and the 3 unfortunate destinies, this is a vast mind. When he thinks with loving kindness about a being that is dear to him and he extends this thought to all dear beings, this is a vast mind. When he thinks with loving kindness about people who are indifferent to him, this is an extended mind. When he thinks with loving kindness about his enemies and thus his merits are many, this is an immense mind. The mind that bears upon a limited object is called vast. That which bears upon a small object is called extended. That which bears upon immensity is called immense. This is the meaning of these distinctions. E. Subhavatana Satina. By a well-cultivated mind is meant a strong mind of loving kindness. The mind is not yet well cultivated when one is just beginning to acquire it. In order that it be well cultivated, it is not enough to practice it just toward fond people, or toward good people, or toward those who do good to us, or toward beings of a single direction. Following long practice, it is necessary to acquire deep affection for and love equally and without any difference the 3 types of beings: friends, enemies and neutrals. To look upon beings in the 5 destinies and the 10 directions with the same loving kindness as one regards one's mother, father, older brother, younger brother, older sister, younger sister, one's son, nephew, one's friend. One should always look for good things to procure their welfare and safety. Finally, one should include the beings of the 10 directions in this loving kindness. 2. The 3 kinds of loving kindness. 1. The mind of loving kindness of which we have just spoken is that which has beings as object. It is found mainly among worldly people practicing the trances or in adepts on the path of practice who have not yet destroyed the impurities. 2. There are those who practice a loving kindness that has things as object. These are the Arhats who have destroyed the impurities, the Pratyekabuddhas, and the Buddhas. Having destroyed the concept of self and eliminated notions of identity and difference, these holy individuals consider only the objects of enjoyment continually coming from causes and conditions. When they think about beings with loving kindness, they think only of the emptiness coming continually from causes and conditions together. The being is the 5 empty skandhas. When they think with loving kindness, they are thinking about these 5 skandhas. But beings themselves ignore this emptiness of things and, with their whole heart, always want to find happiness. The holy individuals of whom we are speaking take pity on them and make them find happiness as they wish, but only from the conventional point of view. This is what is called loving kindness, having things as object. 3. As for the loving kindness that has no object, this is the one that only the Buddhas possess. Why? The mind of the Buddhas does not rest on the conditioned or on the unconditioned. It does not rest on the past, the future, or the present. The Buddhas know that all objects are not real, are erroneous, and deceptive. This is why their mind is without object. Beings do not know the true nature of things. They wander through the 5 destinies, their minds are attached to things, they make distinctions, take certain things and reject other things. And so the Buddhas use the wisdom of the true nature of things and make beings obtain it. This is the loving kindness without object. It is as if one gave material objects to a needy person, precious things of gold or silver, and finally the precious wish-fulfilling gem. It is the same for the loving kindness that has beings as object, the loving kindness that has things as object, and the loving kindness without object, respectively. This briefly defines the meaning of the mind of loving kindness. It is the same for the mind of compassion. The ascetic includes with compassion the suffering of beings of the 10 directions and reflects as follows. Beings are in misery. They should not endure all these sufferings. Then with a mind free of enmity, free of hostility, free of rivalry, free of malice, etc. He includes the 10 directions. 3. The subjective nature of loving kindness. Question. There are 3 kinds of beings. I. Those who experience happiness, such as the gods and a small portion of humans. 2. Those who undergo suffering, such as the beings of the 3 unfortunate destinies and a small portion of humans. 3. Those who experience neither suffering nor happiness, such as a small portion of beings in the 5 destinies. How do those who practice loving kindness see all beings as experiencing happiness, and those who practice compassion see all beings as undergoing suffering? Answer. When the yogin wants to use the infinite feeling of loving kindness, first he makes the following vow. I wish that beings may experience all kinds of happiness. Having in this way grasped the character of the happy man, he concentrates his mind and enters into dhyana. This nature increases gradually, and then the yogin sees all beings as experiencing happiness. Thus, when one is making fire by friction, first the flame takes fire on the soft grass and dried cow dung, and, as the strength of the fire increases, it is able to consume big pieces of moist wood. It is the same for the concentration of loving kindness. At the beginning, when one make the vows for loving kindness, one applies them only to one's friends. But when the mind of loving kindness has grown, enemies and relatives become mixed up and one sees them all as experiencing happiness. This is because the dhyanas or samapatis of loving kindness have grown and are becoming complete. It is the same for the minds of compassion, joy, and equanimity. For object and merit of equanimity. Question. In the course of the mind of compassion, one takes hold of the character of the unhappy man, in the course of the mind of joy,